Welcome to the BottledGames podcast, episode 1. We're going to try to just talk about shit in general, mainly games and why they're important to us, and other stuff like that.
So we thought that the best place to start would be discussing
our favorite games.
And our favorite game memories.
So, you might as well just start again.
Well, let's start by introducing ourselves.
Oh, what a good idea. Because I keep forgetting to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Ryan.
I'm Matt. You guys also know me as Hauer or Maha.
As you just, they didn't know that till just now.
They didn't know that, but
inaugural.
I definitely go by that name sometimes, occasionally as well.
Great way to start. All right.
Great way to start. We're boring as shit.
We're going to talk about the favorite games, our favorite games and game memories, I should say. Do you want to start again? Because we already did this and it failed, so we're just going to try it again.
I had such a great epiphany on that last one, too.
We can cut it together, too. But actually, you know what? I'll go. Because, I actually don't have necessarily... There's several things. It's not necessarily one game that I can think of. There's a memory of when the Panasonic 3DO was out, and I remember being at my friend, also named Ryan.
That was a thing.
Yeah, it was. And it was the first time, I might be wrong, but it might be I think it was the first Need for Speed that ever came out was on that.
I think it was. I think you're right.
I remember I had a strong memory of my dad playing it with my friend's stepdad. Mm-hmm. And they just enjoyed it. And I remember the cop coming out and everything. And I remember seeing him holy crap. And then at the same house, because they always had the game systems before us. Mm-hmm. I think we had an N64 at the time. But they got a PlayStation 1. And I remember playing Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that. But the one thing was the first Tomb Raider.
You were getting a little bit turgid.
Well, I just remember being
little boy underwears.
No, I just remember it being extremely fun that you could I remember the mansion going around. I
fucking hated those Tomb Raider games.
I found it extremely fun because you got besides the fact you're running around with guns, but it was also the archaeology kind of thing because I was a huge Indiana Jones fan.
That's right, in Egypt. Ryan Chuck in Egypt.
But those weren't, I don't think it was in Egypt. I think it was in
No, but you fucking geeked out about that shit.
I still do. I love Egypt.
There you go.
My dad's the same way. But but those aside, I think actually my favorite memory about gaming in general was when the PlayStation 2 was coming out. I had a dirt bike. I stopped using it. I sold the dirt bike to my neighbor for the money, and my parents...
And then you mowed lawns for an entire fucking summer.
Well, that was just helping my dad. Too. But yeah, I did that.
But to quote-unquote earn the money to buy the PlayStation 2.
And this is where it gets crazy. We pre-ordered it from... I remember being super excited for it. I got rid of the dirt bike and everything. I was like, I want this.
No, I actually very well remember this myself. We were in about grade 7.
Yeah, but we pre-ordered the thing from Toys R Us, and I think my mom went actually down to pre-order it and pick it up. Well, actually, I came with the whole family went to pick it up, but we got this. We ended up spending $1,000 at Toys R Us that day because the game,
which is just a shameful thing in of itself.
The PlayStation 2 when it first launched, it was really expensive, but I ended up getting the max controllers it would take, and I think I got two. Yeah, and I got 2 games in the bundle, which I think was $700. I'm not kidding you.
What was it called? X something?
There was X Squad, which is
the glass breaking.
Just in the repetitive music in it. Yeah. I remember that game looking, holy shit, that's a beautiful looking game. Yeah. But and the other one, I can't remember the other game we got with it. But my whole family was there. My dad's like, oh, there's NHL, so he got NHL. And we ended up getting a couple other games. By the time we were done there, buying memory cards, this, that, and everything, it was $900 something. But we did it, and we took it home, and we played the shit out of all that.
Oh, yeah, we totally did. I remember then I was super jealous because you had the PS2 and I didn't because I was used to getting everything before you because I'm an only child. FYI, guys, I'm an only child, so I'm really used to getting my way and getting what I want.
And it's funny, I used to get jealous of you for getting a lot of things like guitar and stuff like that.
Like that guitar that's sitting right there in the corner that hasn't been played in 10 years.
Yeah, that one. But now I have 8 guitars.
Yeah. So anyways, Ryan's got the PS2 and he's... This is a good gaming memory, actually, that I'm about to tell you guys. And I was super jealous, and I was talking about it, and my mom knew how badly I wanted it. So then at fucking Christmas time, she bought one for me, and she didn't put it under the tree. I can't remember exactly where she put it. But it wasn't under the tree, and it was the last present I opened.
Oh, really?
And I fucking opened it, and it was a PS2. and I literally started fucking crying. I cried.
Oh, really?
I was like, I got the PS2. I was jumping up and down, crying, like, you know the Pillsbury commercial that we used to imitate? Oh my god, we got Pillsbury! That was like me with a PlayStation 2. Just dancing alone. Dancing in the dark.
Well, your parents were there, weren't you? Or they just like you just open it by yourself? And, like,
well, no, they like, but I cried, and because I cried, you know how my mom is, she's super emotional and a weirdo. So she cried because I was crying, and the game that I got with that, which I'll remember, I think sort of changed our PS2 gaming experience. Motherfucking Smuggler's Run.
Oh, yeah.
That was the game that I got with my PS2 that Christmas.
That's actually a really good memory because I remember us playing that non-stop.
Constantly.
And you know what? I still wish I had that game.
It's so badass.
And another game just like that was Red Faction 1.
Yeah,
was that PlayStation 2?
That was PS2. That came out the summer after that, I remember, because I bought it on my birthday that following summer, and then I had my birthday party, and we were supposed to go do something, but we just wound up sitting around. It was like you, me, and somebody else. I can't remember who it was.
Sean, maybe?
It was either Sean or Curtis. I mean, really, there's not a lot of people to choose from here. Even nowadays, not a lot of people like me. Let's be honest. So anyways, it was you, me, and either Sean or Curtis, and we played fucking Red Faction 1 for, like, days.
And I do remember that being... Till this day... I mean, I did end up buying it in Steam, and when I saw that... By the way, I got the entire... From Red Faction 1 to the newest one for $20 on Steam.
Wow.
The whole thing. And I was super happy. Unfortunately, you had to download this... By the way, I had to run it... But for everyone who knows, I'm a huge Apple fan, and I actually run Macs, and I know that that's not for gaming. But I boot camped it in Steam, and it runs fine on it. But the problem is that even on Windows, the release of Red Faction 1 on Steam doesn't work that well. You actually have to download... Some people in the community released a PT Launcher is what it's called, and you use that to actually launch the game and set a couple other settings because it really doesn't run that well. It was a horrible release.
Just a terrible port.
It was a horrible release. But anyways, I remember that game. My favorite part of that was the fact that obviously the biggest thing was that you could blow holes.
Yeah, blowing holes. Remember, we used to spend so much time with a rocket launcher, just blowing through, making caverns and tunnels and shit.
But the multiplayer, that was my favorite thing. Aside from that, was just the fact that, like, if there was a tank, there's that tank towards the beginning that you can, and we actually have a Let's Play of Paul and I playing that, and you get to that point where the tank comes and you can actually blow the bridge up and the thing just falls.
That was revolutionary at the time.
It was really cool. And unfortunately, in Red Faction 2, they got rid of it. They totally got rid of it.
Red Faction 2 kind of was fucking
The Red Faction series, see, I love the Red Faction. I loved 1. I loved, and I wish they could, 2 was kind of just bullshit. But I don't know if you played the newer ones.
I have not.
They're cool because, they're open world kind of thing. But it's cool because it's the physics engine on it. Like, basically every building is parts. So you get this giant hammer kind of thing, or a car, or whatever you want to do. Yeah. But you can actually take out struts, and the whole building will collapse and stuff. And like little pieces will fall over. It's just not the same feeling.
Right, exactly.
Right? I wish they took it in a completely different direction, which was kind of upsetting. But I did really like that. Actually, what was I trying to say? Another series that I really enjoyed, and we can both agree on this, was Metal Gear.
Fuck! I love Metal Gear.
And here's another one that's exactly the same thing as Final Fantasy. You played Metal Gear Solid 1. Actually, I think I watched you play Metal Gear Solid 1. I never actually played all the way through Metal Gear Solid 1.
I never played Metal Gear Solid 1 until after I'd played the demo for Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember, let me interrupt this story for a minute with a quick addendum to this story. So, I was reading Official PlayStation Magazine, and Ryan's going to get a beer, but I'm going to continue telling this story. I was reading Official PlayStation Magazine, or Electronic Gaming Monthly, EGM. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And they were talking about Metal Gear Solid 2, and it was a full, 4 or 5 page article. And I was like, I have to try this game. Well, then, Zone of the Enders came out. And with Zone of the Enders, a Konami game, came the demo for Metal Gear Solid 2. So what did I do the day it was released? Went to the video store and rented Zone of the Enders. Opened up that bitch, made sure that the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo was in there, and took it home. Returned the game without the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo. Because I sat down, I played that thing. It was basically from the beginning of the game until you fight Olga. After you fight Olga, you get a cutscene. That's the end of the demo. But I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. So of course, what did I do? I went to Metal Gear Solid 1 and I was like, I need to play this. So I played through Metal Gear Solid 1 and I was like, this game's amazing. Metal Gear Solid 2 is still one of my top games of all time. Gotta say though, still have not finished Metal Gear Solid 3.
Really? I beat that. That's the only. This is my claim to fame. I mean, there's no proof of it. Mm-hmm. That was the only game that I beat on the extreme difficulty.
Oh, really?
Where you can't die.
Yeah, I've never played all the way through Metal Gear Solid 3.
Anyone or anything.
But anyways, back to what you were talking about. We were talking about Metal Gear, and you were saying you watched me play through Metal Gear Solid 1.
It was the equivalent. Like final for me, it was like you had I came in you got into Final Fantasy 7 just so you got into you knew about Final Fantasy or Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid, but I got into the game afterwards. I got into Final Fantasy 8. Just hearing about you talking about the one before it, and I got into Metal Gear Solid 2 because of you talking about Metal Gear Solid 1. Right. And I did see you play it. I know you played it because I saw you playing it. Yeah.
Psycho Mantis, when you have to flip the PlayStation over and
see, I
fuck around with the controller and all that shit.
And can we just say one quick thing? Sure. It still bothers me to this day that we've never had a re-release, a Nintendo GameCube port of Metal Gear Solid 1 to PlayStation.
They're doing it now, though, aren't they?
No.
Wait, no, I'm thinking of Resident Evil.
No, but they completely made...
Yeah, Twin Snakes.
Yeah, but they made the game look much more presentable, and it was something that it looked like Metal Gear Solid 2, and it looked like when I saw that I was like that for me I didn't get into it when the game came out.
You're a graphics snob though.
No, but you gotta hear me out. I didn't get into the game when the game came out. Then I saw the second one, which was by the way a huge leap in graphic fidelity.
Of course, it was massive.
Right? So seeing the old one was hard for me to jump into in the same way. It's a graphics snob thing, but when you get a taste of something that much nicer.
But when you've been drinking Glenmorangie all night, you can't go back to fucking the famous grouse.
Yeah, sure. I don't know what that means.
It's a Scotch reference.
Ugh, gross. Only people who drink Scotch are people who hate their wives or hate themselves.
What do you think I am? Not filled with self-loathing?
Obviously, you drink Scotch. It's an old man's drink for a reason. Old rich man's drink.
So much hatred.
When you get tired of your trophy wife.
What a cunt.
But yeah, I enjoyed Metal Gear Solid 2 immensely. But obviously, let's not lie. Raiden was bullshit.
Raiden's a little fucking... And okay, I'm going to preface this statement with, I don't hate gay people. I have no problems with gay people. I have a lesbian aunt. I was the MC at her wedding. So I have no hatred for gay people. But Raiden was a fucking homo.
Probably wasn't the best words to choose. You could say just a loser. He was just a... You know what he was? The thing was, Metal Gear Solid was so good. The whole franchise was real... For a game that came out of Japan, it was...
Snake was just such a fucking Kurt Russell-style American badass. It
was based off Escape from New York, the character.
Yeah.
But, the game, even coming out of Japan, was... I mean, obviously it was, American... Snake's American. He's not Japanese or anything. Yeah. They made it was such a leap and bound from what typically you expect from a Japanese game.
Yep.
And I feel like when they brought Raiden in, they were trying to bring in someone. The character itself was more stereotypical Japanese characters.
He very much was. He looked like a little Japanese bitch.
Yeah, but with
his hair.
But it was a little bit. I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of Japanese people or the game. It's just I find a lot of the characters, especially the young, pretty boy characters,
the classic.
They're kind of whiny.
But that's a classic Japanese anime sort of fucking thing. I mean, look at going back to Final Fantasy, which we haven't talked about yet on this version of the first podcast, but we talked about extensively on the other version of the first podcast. Which, you know what, we should just release that as an extended scene because I don't feel like having that conversation again. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, anyways. Look at all the protagonists in the Final Fantasy games, and I'm going to be honest, and I'm just going to start at 7, because those are the ones that are important to me in my generation. Cloud, kind of a whiny bitch. Mm-hmm. Not that much. Really silent and stoic. Squall, talk about a whiny fucking bitch.
Yeah, you know what? As much as I love Final Fantasy, that game, and that was the one I played multiple times through.
Squall is a whiny little bitch.
But let's be honest. I think every release of Final Fantasy, the male characters have gone either well, in general, they've gone more feminine, but as they've gone on, they've actually made them look more masculine. It's this really weird juxtaposition. Look at was it Titus in Final Fantasy X?
Yeah.
He was really not really effeminate. You can't blame the voice actor necessarily. He was trying to do his best with what he was given. But he still had to hit all the points that were already in the game.
Yep.
But then I don't know much about it. I think it's Final Fantasy. Was it 13? Yeah, 13 with lightning.
Well, Lightning's a girl.
Yes, but there's that big dude with the toque.
Oh, that looks kind of like Cypher. He's like shitty Final Fantasy 13 Cypher.
I think so. He's like a
because he's got like the toque and like the gray overcoat. I mean, I never played all the way through the game,
but he's like Barrett kind of looking ish, but like with like blonde hair.
He's like a huge white guy that's supposed to be like a gangster in that universe. He's got like a toque and a fucking big gray overcoat.
But he comes off as effeminate and
he comes off as like a weirdo.
And I don't know. I like that's the thing I think where I've got out. I still like what Final Fantasy games are. I love the graphics that they push out, and this new one, Final Fantasy, was it 15 coming out? It looks really good.
I really stopped caring after 10.
So did I.
I bought.
You played 13. Oh, we know you bought 12.
I bought 12. I played like, I don't know, probably 3-4 hours of 12. Didn't like the battle system.
Is that the online one? No, it's 14.
12. Well, first there was 11, which was the online one. Which you basically like walked up to. I know
my ex-girlfriend played that a lot.
You basically walked up to an enemy and pressed battle, and then it just battled for you. So I was like, and you had to pay like $40 a month to play it.
Yeah,
which was garbage.
That came out before WoW though, right?
No, it was after WoW.
Really? Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow,
but so that was 11, and then 12. I didn't like the battle system at all because it was very reminiscent of 11 actually. So I was like, fuck this. Plus the main character, I can't even remember his name. He was trying to be like a sky pirate or something. I don't know. Some sort of nonsense. That game was all nonsense from what I played. So I walked away from that. 13, started playing
I was with you when you started playing it. And when it got to that part where that woman was like, moms are tough too. That's when I was like,
we both started laughing our asses off.
Because it was just so, like, it wasn't just what she said and like how the voice acting was. It was the whole scene, how it looked. The audio mix, like it just seems so cheesy. It was like, and that's the thing. The games are. I don't know if it was because we were younger and they were just like we were more into that kind of stuff.
That could be part of it. But like, it was also, I think, a large part of it was the first Final Fantasy games that we played, 7, 8, and 9. There was no voice acting. You had to read everything, so you didn't have that.
I hated that about the games, though. That's the one thing that's
but when they first started. Me too. I can't. I don't have time for that shit nowadays. But
can we just cut this off and talk about the Final Fantasy game that was better than anything else that wasn't a Final Fantasy game? Legend of Dragoon. Dragoon.
Yes.
Now that was
completely agree. That was a badass game. I don't remember all that much about it.
I don't remember the storyline. All I remember was cool that you could turn into the dragon and you had the suit armors and you could change the armor and stuff.
And it had that great thing in the battle system where
it was basically Power Rangers mixed with
like if you chose attack or whatever, then you had to time your press of the X button to hit the little box and you'd like double. Plus the story, I remember the story for that being great. I don't remember anything about it. I don't remember specifics. I just remember the story was great.
I always compare because that came out.
It came out after 8, but before 9.
I remember you got that game as well.
Yeah.
Because that's when you got into the JRPG games.
Yeah, that was another one of. That was a birthday thing.
Was it?
We were at the movie theater, and we went to see a movie for my birthday. I think it was Mystery Men. And then afterwards, we went to... we stopped at the Future Shop in Coquitlam, and went in, and I picked up Legend of Dragoon.
And I just remember that game. That was the... And that's...
We were like 11. We were like 10 or 11.
And we were talking about you being jealous about me getting the PS2. I was always jealous that you had the game, but I never went and bought it because I was just always at your place anyways playing it. And I think... Was that 2-player?
There was one of those JRPGs from those days that was like, it wasn't fully 2-player. It was like you could plug a second controller in and then a second player could control characters in the battle.
Yeah, that's what I meant though.
Yeah. Like I know Final Fantasy 9 had that.
But I never played 9. I don't think I played 9 with you.
We played a little bit of 9 at your place.
You love 9.
You fucking hated it because that guy had a monkey tail.
That's the thing. That's one thing about when we were talking about like 7, 8, and 9 and stuff like that. I never played.
You like the sci-fi and hate the fantasy aspect.
I just like when it's more. I mean, as realistic as Final Fantasy can get. I like having the like Ifrit and Shiva and all that stuff. And all that stuff. I like that stuff in the game. Mm-hmm. I just don't like that particular the cutesy wootsy character kind of things.
No, I get it. I understand the reasons why you were never into it. I really liked it. The reason why I really liked 9 was because it took a little bit of the sci-fi, but mostly it took aspects of the like equipment system and the battle system from 7 and 8 that were great, and then it took classic Final Fantasy aspects like black mages, white mages, that kind of thing.
And the airships and stuff.
Yeah, and put them together, and I thought that was fantastic. Plus, the story in 9 is just excellent. Still to this day, Final Fantasy IX, my favorite Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we were talking about gaming memories, weren't we?
Yeah, and another one that pops out that actually is both of us, and we were just talking about it before we started this, which is that Dino Crisis game. Because I remember this, I still remember this. We were sitting in the room.
It was the den, became my bedroom.
Yeah, and then not your bedroom.
Yeah.
But I remember the TV. It was late at night. I know it was late at night.
It definitely was late. I remember this. It was late at night.
I don't know how late it was because in my mind it was like 2 a.m.
But we were also like 11 or 12.
Yeah, so it was probably like 9. But
it was dark.
It was definitely dark out. We had the lights off, and we're like, it was an old, like.
It was that old CRT TV that like I had.
20 inches, maybe.
Yeah, probably something
like that. And
because we're old school, son.
Well, that was all that was available at the time.
That's right.
But we were pretty close to the TV, and I remember we were walking. I remember the scene.
You walk across the catwalk.
Yeah, there's a catwalk, and then this T-Rex just pops through the window, and I remember this because we fucking jumped so much and screamed.
Yeah.
To the point I don't know after that point. That's all I remember. But I feel like your mom came down or something.
I think she did because we were like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is going on?"
I feel like we turned the lights on and everything.
Yeah.
But I remember that.
And then neither of us ever played that game after that. We were like, that is terrifying.
No, I think we played after that. I think we beat that. Or we didn't beat it. I think because something else came out. But
well, Dino Crisis 2 is one that I have a lot of memories about. Staying home from school sick, which I did a lot in high school and elementary school.
Yeah.
I hold the record at my elementary school for most days of school missed in grade 7, which was like a third of the year. Then grade 10 with the mono thing.
You missed like a whole
I literally missed 6 months. Still finished my grade 10 courses on time because I'm that fucking smart
when your mom's doing your homework for you.
Or good at negotiating. Anyways, Dino Crisis 2, played the shit out of that one.
Yeah.
And that one was more of a shooter, third-person shooter, Resident Evil style, than it was a...
Another one with Resident Evil that I will remember, I think it was Code Veronica X we were playing.
Ooh,
and it was the part where you're fighting Nemesis, but you're in, you drop down into... I think you jump out of you're fighting in a plane, then you end up in a cemetery, I think?
It's not Nemesis that you're fighting, it's something else, but...
Okay, I thought
I know what you're talking about. Nemesis is exclusive to 3, but anyways.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought...
Yeah. It's another tyrant type figure.
Okay, but I remember that being really scary. But also that just instantly reminded me of one thing about Resident Evil. It wasn't with me, it just... I found it funny, was that I think it was... Was there any Resident Evil on N64?
There was Resident Evil 2 on N64.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it must have been that. I think that was around that time. But I remember when I used to sleep upstairs at my parents' place when I was younger. I moved downstairs into the basement.
Into the closet.
Yeah, it was pretty much a closet. But I remember coming up, and it was I think it was 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I came upstairs, and my dad was sitting upstairs playing Resident Evil 1 or 2, whatever one it was.
Yeah.
And I just found it hilarious that, because my dad was never really, my dad played Need for Speed. He played Battlefield 1 or 1942 or whatever it was at my friend's place who had the Tomb Raider and everything. But aside from that, he didn't really play games too much. So I found it extremely hilarious that he was actually up till late at night playing Resident Evil. I think still this day he actually likes that game. I don't think he doesn't play games at all.
It was a good game.
But I just found it was hilarious because when we got the N64 the first day, those people, my friends that actually had the PlayStation, they came over to our place, and his stepdad and my dad were playing me and my friend in pod racing, the Star Wars game, and they couldn't fucking do it because there's that one track where you have to like flip your ship sideways to go through the crack. Yep. They couldn't do it. It was too fast for them.
All right. Ryan, find a good story to tell these people. I gotta go take a leak.
Okay. We
don't pause on the Bottled Games podcast.
No, we're just gonna keep going.
Because pausing is for sissies.
Anyways, well, it's trying to think of other games that were really fun to play.
We need our Jonah Ray.
Yeah, you are the Jonah Ray.
No, I'm the Matt Myra. Come on.
Okay. Well, anyways.
Let's be realistic. Sarcastic dickhead who shoots down everything.
They can't hear you, so just go to the bathroom.
We're having a conversation. Right?
Another game that actually, a recent game that actually, one of the few games that I've actually played extensive amounts of was Rust. And I don't know, I think I just like saw some videos of it. I wasn't big into the early access thing, but I thought it was really cool that it was Minecraft, but it wasn't Minecraft. It didn't look like Minecraft. It looked kind of good to a degree. And at first I kind of played, I was like, I kept getting killed, learned my way how to start playing it, and kind of got hooked onto it. And then before I knew it, I was drawing floor plans out of how to build bases that would last. I was going on hunts and everything. And I'm not an MMO person. I hate that kind of stuff. But I got addicted to it. I think right now, I haven't played it in about 9 months or something. Or maybe even a year almost. But I think I put in like 270 hours. Like, I played it religiously. And Paul played it with me too for a while. And we teamed together, built this big metal house. And this is another memory that haunts me. But I was playing by myself. Paul was at work. And these guys were kind of trolling me or whatever. And they tried to get in the base before and everything. And then they had C4. I didn't have C4. And we had a pretty decent setup building. It was hard. There was many doors, couldn't get through. It was all metal and stuff. Took a lot of C4. But they started coming through, and I had nothing to fucking really defend myself. And they just kept coming through, trolling. And they killed me a couple times. I'd set things up so I'd get back. And I ended up defending the base. And then I think a day later, 2 days later, I came back on the game and woke up in the middle of nowhere. And they'd fucking taken everything, put doors on. I couldn't get back to it. And that's when I said, fuck this game, but I always want to go back to it.
What game is that?
Rust. It's just like, it's basically, imagine Minecraft with good real graphics.
Oh.
You start off like...
I remember you telling me about this, yeah.
You start off basically as like a caveman. You're naked, you have nothing, you build stuff up. But I got really into it. I was drawing floor plans and building buildings and stuff like that.
As you would.
Yeah. Well, because you actually, like, it's resources, right? Yeah. Like, you really have to be careful. And, like, you want to...
Plus, it had to look like a show home, because you're riding one.
Well, you couldn't do it that way. But like, you had like, there's simple things, like, people could build... you had to build in the right place so that people couldn't build a tower next to you and jump over your walls and get in.
Oh.
Right?
Interesting.
And shit like that. But I was saying that...
A little bit of strategy to riding one show home.
Well, you had to have strategy in that game, but it still didn't work because once you learn how to build C4, people would stock it up and you can blow through everything. And they blew all... And I was playing, and I remember, like, standing by doors and, like, trying to fend off. And they got me a couple times. I ended up defeating him. I already said this, but they ended up getting through when I was gone. And I just said, fuck this. And I was like, I got so upset. And I've never, in any game ever, and I never expected that game, especially in being early access, for me ever to be... I played, I think 270 plus hours on that game. I've never played that many hours in any game, any one particular game ever. And it's an online one, and I was never into that either. But yeah. And I just want to point out one thing that we were talking about. At one point, you were talking about when you got the Metal Gear demo. Mm-hmm. And you're saying that you kept that.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up that was hilarious to me when we were younger was how not returning games back to the rental store.
Oh,
especially for you.
And my terrible habit of it, yes.
But you getting away with it.
Yes, and I was just thinking of this. So the prime example that comes to mind is Metal Gear Solid 3. This is the prime example of my habit of doing that. And we happened to sort of make friends and know this guy that worked at the video store because he played in a local band.
Who's that? Axel?
No, but he was the lead singer of Axel's band.
Oh, Curtis.
Curtis, yeah.
Curtis S.
Curtis S. Anyways. So I used to go to the store and rent games, and I would not return them Well, I would not return them. It was more like I would take them and I would rent them, and then I would forget that I rented them. I would have them for quite a while, and I would keep them. And then, for some reason, every time I went into the video store to rent more stuff, I would never get, called on it, even though it showed up on my history, apparently, but because they check that, it shows like what you have checked out and what's late and everything. And if you had too many late things, they wouldn't rent to you. But for some reason on my account, I guess it showed up, but this guy that we knew at the video store that played in local bands all the time with us, and we jammed with him every once in a while, he just never brought it up, and he just rented the games to us anyways. So I was in and out of there, I don't know, it was probably 6 months. I was in and out of that video store, and I still had Metal Gear Solid 3 checked out. And it came out right before Christmas, if you guys don't remember. And so this was probably June when this came up, and I was in there. And he was in there, but he was not. We got the till next to him, just randomly. And it was the manager. And she goes, "Oh, well, I see you've had this game checked out for going on 6 months now. You've never paid us for it." And I was like, "What do you mean? What game are you talking about? What do I have checked out?" And I think, weren't you with me?
I believe
when
so.
That happened?
It's happened many times.
I'm like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about? I never had that game checked out." And she's like, "Yeah, it's Metal Gear Solid 3. And I'm like, "No, I definitely don't have that game checked out."
The time I remember you doing that was because I'm not going to tell the story of when you found that your mom actually.
Well, I was actually going to tell that story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to. Okay, well then.
So, anyways, she goes, "Well, yeah, it says you've had it checked out since whatever day it was." I'm like, "No, don't have it checked out." And she's like, "Well, how do you know you don't have it checked out? I'm sure you have it checked out. It says here you rented it on whatever date." And I'm like, "No, I definitely didn't, because I got that game for Christmas and I knew I was getting that game for Christmas, so I didn't rent it because I didn't want to ruin it for myself. So I waited until Christmas till I got it." We went back and forth for like 20 minutes on this shit. Finally, she's like, "Whatever, it's fine. I get it. Let us rent our movies," and we walked out of there. So, here's the reason why I knew I was getting Metal Gear Solid 3 for Christmas. We were all at my place after school one day. My mom was out. So I decided, I think it was yourself, myself, and Tristan.
Okay.
Anyways, it was after a Stereovation band practice. Anyway, so I decided I was going to go look for Christmas presents. So, first place I check is the bottom drawer of the nightstand next to my mom's bed. I open that up expecting to find Metal Gear Solid 3 and various other gifts. What do I find, Ryan? What do I find?
Do you really want to say this?
The biggest fucking purple rubber cock you've ever seen in your entire life. I mean, seriously, this thing was like 10 inches long, purple rubber, had the dolphin-shaped vibrating thing for the clit on it. Fucking, like, you turn that thing on, it spun in, like, circles. It was like, this is the orgasm machine. So, yeah, that was a mortifying experience. But I came to terms with it. As I would.
Yeah, that was very interesting, and it led to many years of jokes and at his mom's expense, and I'm very sorry.
Remember the time that we were hanging out at my place, and my mom didn't know that we knew, and we were making jokes at her expense, and she happened to be standing right behind us in the other room?
No, we were just being loud. She was in her bedroom.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm always loud, so.
And then she came out and then gave a shit for it, and it's not funny, but your dad thought it was funny. My
dad thought it was hilarious because he's the Cliff and the boss.
But yeah, that was just like, even the idea of renting, I mean, sure, like, we all rented games, but we were young, and it wasn't like we had money, and it was a way for, our parents invested money in us having those systems. They weren't going to buy us every game that came out.
Right.
Nowadays, it's funny, like, I don't consider myself a huge gamer. I'm on and off. Like, I
think part of it comes from the fact that the video game rental places don't exist anymore.
Well, it's not that, though. It's not even the rental thing. Because PlayStation Now is out now.
That's true. I haven't looked at that yet.
I haven't used it yet because my internet connection's not that great. But,
apparently Curtis used it. He said it was great.
I'm sure it is. But my whole thing about it is, or about going to rentals and stuff like that, is like, nowadays I find myself, I know what I want to play.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I bought some duds.
Me too.
Like, I went, for some reason, went and bought the Walking Dead game, which is the one for PS3.
Yeah.
Which is horrible.
That's the Telltale one?
No, not the Telltale one. This is a first-person one where you play.
Oh, yeah, I had the same experience with the Game of Thrones game for PS3.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
But, I mean, in general, usually I buy very specific ones. Like, I like Battlefield. I buy Battlefield.
Yep.
Like, I like Tomb Raider. I bought the new Tomb Raider, which, by the way, is awesome.
I have it.
Oh, yeah, it's a great
I have it. I haven't finished it yet. I've had it for like a year
Destiny.
and a half.
I did buy Advanced Warfare, mainly to do a Let's Play, but I've actually found that I actually quite enjoy it.
I don't mind playing Call of Duty games. Like, they're fun to play. It's just, for the most part, for the past 3 or 4 years.
Oh, it's gone so
basically
boring.
everything since Modern Warfare 2.
It's just a Michael Bay wet dream.
Yeah, has just been Michael Bay's fucking wet dream. Michael Bay just sitting there like, what garbage can I jizz out into my underpants? And then he throws those underpants out the window, and they land on the lead developer for Infinity Ward, and that guy's like,
Or
this.
Treyarch. Or Treyarch.
Or Treyarch. And that guy's like, this. I don't know why these guys keep walking under Michael Bay's window. That's my question. You know the dude's throwing his fucking cummy underwear out there.
I just
Poor
like
planning.
But you know what? This one, I mean, sure, a big draw was having Kevin Spacey in it, but I was excited because they've either done two things with Call of Duty since pretty much the original one. In general, they've either gone back in time, like old school wars, or it's been modern day stuff. And don't get me wrong, that's another actually good memory was us playing Modern Warfare 2. Was it 2 or 1?
It was 2. When 2 came out, we bought it.
I bought a copy, and I wasn't even. We only had one system there. I just bought it,
and we bombed through it at Sean's mom's place because his parents were out of town for the entire weekend. We bombed through it in one night.
No, that was just the campaign, but we were there for like a week. Were we?
We were there for about 5 days.
That we bombed through. We plowed through Spec Ops, though.
Yes, we did.
That was where we spent most of our time.
Yeah. Well, we bombed through the campaign in the first night.
Yeah, that was easy though.
Those were good times at Sean's mom's. Oh, Sean's mom's so foxy.
Edit. But yeah, no,
Sean's mom knows she's foxy.
Call of Duty is gone. I don't know. They're not selling as well as they used to, obviously, because it's the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's the one thing I want to talk about is annual cycles on games.
Yeah.
They did it with Assassin's Creed. That's what I mean. They released 2, I think, back to back just now.
Oh, really? I never really got into those games.
I bought 4.
I know. I was there the day you bought it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
When the PS4 came out, we went to your place and played it.
You know what? I played about an hour of it. I just couldn't get into it. I knew I didn't like it. I played another Assassin's Creed 2 or something. I knew I didn't like it.
Yeah.
The chick at the store said at EB Games said, "Oh, it's really good looking and stuff like that, and it's a fun game." And I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I was the same way with Assassin's Creed. I tried 1, couldn't get into it. Played a fair amount of 2, could not get into it. Didn't even bother with 3, and then 4 I saw about an hour of it at your place, and I was like, yep.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. But I think that's the problem with annual cycles, really, of anything. Like, I mean, with the
exception of a lot of TV.
That's what I was going to say. Like, but those, you have not that you don't have a large team. I mean, the new Assassin's Creed was like 7 different studios around the world working on it, right? Which right there, like, holy crap. But I mean, I think when you put that much, you're not giving enough time. For case in point, going back to Metal Gear or even Final Fantasy. I mean, the storyline for Final Fantasy aside, the game comes out and it does what it's supposed to do. Assassin's Creed. I don't know if you've seen the all the glitches in the new Assassin's Creed.
No, I have not.
Where people's faces disappear, so it's just like the hair, the full eyeballs, and they're like.
That brings me to another problem that's probably the most offensive thing to me in gaming these days, which is these developers know that they can patch things to fix them later.
Oh, I know.
So they don't fix them pre-release. Well, let me give you fucks a newsflash. I don't want to sit there. This doesn't really apply anymore. PS4 has been okay with it. But I don't want to sit there for 3 fucking hours downloading a dozen updates because I haven't played the game in 6 months.
Oh, I know. It's horrible.
It's brutal.
I know. And, like, yeah, the PS3 was absolutely horrible for that.
It was so bad.
But even, you know what, sometimes even Steam. At least Steam does it. I mean, Steam has already done it. But the PS4, I don't know about the Xbox One because I don't own one. But background downloads while you're away, they'll do it. Steam, as long as you're open.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about... I think all the consoles do it, but as well as Steam. But if you're playing a game, it won't continue the download, which bothers me, even if it's not
PS4
online.
will continue to download, I think.
Will it? I don't know. But it also, I mean, I have mine set up so that it does it when I'm even away. Like, it's always in standby.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. Actually, what do you think, going back to, like, rentals and stuff, like, what do you think about buying a digital copy of a game? Because I've done it twice.
I've done it a few times. When I was talking about that Game of Thrones game, I bought a digital copy.
Oh, it's digital? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing because you wouldn't get any money back for it.
Right, exactly. So I bought the digital copy. I've done it, but there's part of me that feels like is not the same. I think if the digital copy was less to buy, then
I agree.
Or either it's less money to buy the digital copy, or it comes with more content, then I think it's worthwhile. Why not? But for me, it's like if I'm going to buy a game, I want to go to the store. I'm going to pick it up.
It's part of the experience. It's
part of the
It's kind of like the difference between, like, with music, like buying a digital copy or going and buying the actual copy and, you know.
Yeah, buying Sonic Highways, downloading the MP3 of or the MP3s of Sonic Highways, or buying the fucking vinyl.
Yeah, well, it's just tangible. It's a tangible experience, which is...
I mean, the only time I've ever actually bought a digital game and had a good experience, and this is not the fault of digital games, this is just the fault of all the games I've bought digitally being shitty purchases, which is what happens when you're drunk at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night and impulse buy.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem for me with digital games is it's impulse buying. But anyways, so the only game I've downloaded digitally and really enjoyed was Ground Zeroes.
Yeah.
I picked up the digital version of that just because as soon as I got my PS4, I was like, oh my god, I forgot to buy fucking Ground Zeroes when I was at the store. So I just bought it immediately.
Yeah.
And of course, being the Metal Gear freaks that we are, as you guys now apparently know, I was like, I have to have that. So yeah, that was good. But other than that, I'm not that interested in digital games.
See, I'm mixed about it because I know, here's my thing. Like, I like having the copies. I still have PS2 games that I've held.
Well, I still have PS1 games. You saw the box?
Yeah.
The box labeled PlayStations and other stuff. Yeah. We opened that bad boy up in my storage locker. What's it full of? Literally, PlayStations and other stuff. Yeah.
Like I enjoy having the games. Like even just seeing them is nice. There's still a bit of an experience of putting the disc in the system and everything. Yeah. But at the same time, I enjoy, like, when I go sit on the couch. This is that Steam aside, because Steam is like that's pretty much how you do gaming on a PC now. Is you go through Steam and you're not using discs anymore. Yeah. But I like sitting on the couch, turning on the TV, grabbing my controller, turning the system on, and not having to get up to go. Now, to be fair, I've only done it with Ground Zeroes and Advanced Warfare. But. And the reason I'm also doing that is because it's going that way. If they do another console run, which is, you never know, they might not, just the way things are going. Now you can play PlayStation games on a Sony Bravia. Yeah. You don't even need the console anymore with PlayStation Now. It might not go another round of consoles. I think it'll do one more, but it's all going. The next one's probably won't even have a disc drive. Right. But my only fear...
My fucking computer doesn't even have a disk drive.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's going this whole digital way. And so I figured I should buy... I'm buying some digital copies only in the hope that when the next things come out, it'll transfer over.
Yeah. I know. Well, here's one question that I have. Maybe you might be able to answer it. So, Resident Evil 6 came out a couple of years ago, and I picked up the Anthology Edition, right? Spent extra money. The Anthology Edition comes with download codes for every other Resident Evil game. Yeah. So I put 4 on my PS3, downloaded that, but I haven't downloaded any of the other ones. But my PlayStation Store on my PS3 is all fucked because I did that whole thing with the Netflix that I'm not going to talk about because it's illegal. But anyways, so my PlayStation Store on my 3 is fucked. I'm wondering if I could take those download codes and plug them into the 4 and download that game. Though. No, they have. No, I'm not talking about the one. The only one I've redeemed on the 3 is Resident Evil 4. So I still have 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Well, I think that you can play those. I think those are actually available on the PS4. Like, because
well, that's what I'm wondering is if I plug those into the PlayStation Store on my PS4, will they download?
It's only if they will run on the PS4 system. But I think that they're on there even. I'm not sure. I haven't been in the PlayStation Store for a while. But I think that if it's a 50-50 chance. It might work, it might not. Like, they might just not be available, but...
We should just do one of those unveilings, like the Magic cards, where they fucking open up the box of rare Magic cards, and then they're like, here's a common, here's a common, here's a common. Oh my god, the rare is fucking Black Lotus. This card's worth $10,000, which literally, I think that card is worth like 150 grand. Somebody bought one for.
Really?
Yeah, people fucking go apeshit over these like rare old Magic cards. They'll buy, there's like 10 cards or something. I looked this up because after I saw this unveiling video on YouTube, I was curious, as you would be, just like if you saw something like Wincest Victory, you just get curious. So anyways, I looked up, why is he freaking out about this Magic card? Well, apparently it's called like Black Lotus, and they only ran about 1,300 of them.
Okay.
And it was in like 1993, and this was like an old booster pack. And this card, apparently, the original, like from the original run from 93, will sell for like 150 grand. People will buy it. It's
amazing that still goes.
It's unbelievable to me. So anyways, we should do an unboxing with Resident Evil Anthology fucking game codes to see if they work on the PS4.
That's it could work. It's just I don't know. Like it's a 50-50 chance. But let's shift things a bit here, and I think we should talk a little bit about Five Nights at Freddy's. We did a gameplay.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
We did a gameplay of it. It's on the BottledGames YouTube channel. It's doing pretty well actually, but it's that game in particular is.
That game is the most goddamn terrifying thing I've ever experienced in my entire goddamn life.
I know, and I've played I have it on my phone too.
Literally.
But like the thing I find interesting about it is that it's so. I mean, it's like you've got your Resident Evils, you got your Evil Within, you got your Outlast, Silent Hill, Last of Us, Dying Light.
The advantage of all of those is A, you can move.
Yeah.
B, you can defend yourself with weapons.
Yeah, but that's the thing I wanted to talk about is like how almost back to. I mean, it's a point and click. It's almost like Myst to a degree.
It goes right back to basics, but it goes back to basics in a way that it's like it's terrifying. It's literally terrifying.
Yeah, because it really plays. And the one thing I like about it, we haven't got past night 3. Just to let you know, we'll probably play it again, try to beat it. No promises though. But the thing about it that I find extremely interesting is that as you see that like the first night's pretty easy to get by. I mean, even someone who hasn't played it can probably get by the first night. It's the second night onwards that where it obviously gets worse. But I like that besides the fact you like it really because you can't do anything and it's so terrifying. Especially we haven't played it with headphones or anything. We play it in the group, so I mean it's even worse for the guys like Mark Pyler and stuff like that who play it with headphones in the dark. But as it gets progressively faster throughout the game, I find it interesting how you have this like balance between you have to almost conquer your fears to still you have to be on the ball.
You have to get past the terrifying aspect of it to just be on the ball and be whipping through the cameras and doors and lights and all this. I mean, there's not that much to do really, but you're just literally paralyzed with fear.
But it's great because like even like like oh shit, I have to go to the cameras. I don't see anything. I need to check. But you never know when you check that camera. You bring that camera down. That something might not be
right. Exactly.
Be right there.
Like what happened to me when I had my arm flapping incident. The infamous arm flapping incident on the Bottled Games Five Nights at Freddy gameplay Let's Play. You'll also notice that I was concentrating so hard in that video that my face was twitching. I was like...
I never actually, even though I edited the video, I didn't really notice it. Except for that part right before Bonnie the bunny, or I think is what it's called, comes out. It's called Bonnie. But
terrifying. Just absolutely terrifying. Like,
and I played it a bit. I played it a bit in the beginning, and then like when we did your reaction video, because our gameplay actually got corrupt using the Hotpodge 2 PVR HD. By the way,
don't buy that.
Don't buy it. Get an Elgato. It works way better on both platforms. But what was I gonna say? Fuck.
We did the reaction video.
Oh yeah, when we did the reaction video, I actually had to go back and I needed some gameplay.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to sync that part up because I thought your reaction in that that part was too good to give up, and obviously it was because people enjoyed it. But I went back and played it, and even though I had the game, our camera footage playing, so I could try to sync up. I was originally going to try to sync up as much as I could, and edit it together to reuse the footage, which I ended up giving up because it was way too complicated for that type of game. Even though I was looking at the camera and seeing our reactions and stuff more than actually focusing on the game, I still had that fear because I was watching our faces on my computer, and I was like, I know, like, we all look scared. Now I'm getting scared, even though I'm not necessarily looking at the screen. I was like, the game, even if you're not really paying attention, is scary. And it's just, I find it hilarious that, I mean, it's no wonder that it's become such a cult following. Not even cult following, it's huge.
It's massive.
And it's one guy.
Yeah.
One guy made that game.
But he did a great job with it.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's so basic. It's just such a basic game, and it gets you down to your basic instincts. And it does such a good job. Which brings me to, I know you haven't seen it yet, but I want to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
I have not seen it yet, no.
It's only in beta right now. Only like the big Let's Play guys really have it. There's a bunch of videos out, but it only goes to night 3. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure anyone who's listening to this has probably already seen it. But the game, like when you think about Five Nights at a sequel to the original one, he could, like, he's smart. He could have he could have just, changed, like, kept the same place. Mm-hmm. Maybe changed the rooms around the cameras. Maybe add a couple features. Yeah. Which he kind of did. But what he ended up doing was they made it so that old Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Parlor, which is where you were in the original one, they closed that down. A new place has opened up because some new people bought it, and they needed a guard for that. Even though it seems like the same guy's on the phone, right? But but the difference here is that one, you still can't move, but you're sitting in a room with a big, wide open area and just a hallway. You can only shoot a flashlight. There's no actual light, but it's a long hallway. Yeah. And then there's an air vent on either side that has the light button. Don't ask me why there's a light button on an air vent.
It would be the same as me asking why, when you have the doors closed and the power, and you run out of power, why the doors suddenly open. You would think they would stay closed. Yeah. But no, he wants me to get raped, Ryan. He wants me to get raped.
Yeah. But anyways,
that guy must be a fucking weirdo.
I think it's a genius. But
yes, but all geniuses.
Yeah, that's true.
Or most geniuses, weirdos. This one in particular has a fetish for watching furries fuck people.
In a certain way. But yeah, so the second one, there's no doors. You get a flashlight. You can't necessarily use the flashlight, just point around, click. It's pretty much used at down the hallway. Yep. That has a battery. I haven't seen the gameplay yet where if there's a battery on the cameras. I haven't seen, because everyone's covered that part of the screen up. So I'm not sure if there is. But instead of having the doors, you have that purple bunnies.
You put like a mask on?
Yeah, the purple bunny's mask on. So there's 8 characters in this one. Yep. There's 4 of the original ones. I think there's 4 original ones. And they're like the old models. They've been broken down.
Looks like Ducky, Hippo, Freddy Fazbear, and the Fox. Yeah.
So you have those 4. I don't know if all 4 actually are in there. I know that the Bonnie the Bunny, the purple one that always got us, is in there. Yeah.
God damn it, Ryan, learn your animals.
I think it's called Bonnie the Bunny.
It's a hippo.
Okay.
Learn your animals, Ryan.
But the face in that's removed. There's a cow that you see on the ground that does come after you, but it's all like it's all exoskeleton, the weird face, right?
Can you see its milk bags?
No, it's all gone. That's all gone. It's just skeleton, like metal skeleton, animatronic skeleton.
I want to see its milk bags.
But then you have there's imagine like the same set of cameras. It's a little bit different, but then there's an additional like 5 cameras off to the right. So you have all these extra stuff. And one thing you have to do is keep this music box going, because the new character, or I think it's the new characters, I think they get distracted, or the old ones get distracted by the music box playing. Oh. But there's this marionette apparently that if the music box goes off, it's like the fox; it comes right for you, kind of thing.
Interesting.
But then there's this little. You have to keep the music box playing, so you always have this creepy ding, 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 ding.
So basically, they designed this game to make me shit my pants.
It looks way worse because here's the thing: the animals, they can get if you put the map, like they can come be standing right next to you.
Yep.
Now, they might not get you, but they can be right here, and you put if you have the mask on.
Yeah.
And you can look over, and they're looking right at you.
So they literally designed this game to make me shit my pants. How much will it cost to download?
It's in beta right now. I don't know yet. But
what do you think?
I don't know, because like I don't even know how much. I think we got that Five Nights at Freddy's for $10 or something. It's not
$10? Cheaper than MDMA? I'm in.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like going back to like all like Resident Evil and like all these horror games. Like, it's amazing. Like, this is one guy, small budget. He's made a game that's fucking freaking people, and it's a huge thing on YouTube. But then you've got games like Resident Evil, kind of like here and there, but they're not really scary.
Resident Evil's not scary anymore.
They're just like
6 was garbage.
Yeah.
5 was basically a shooter. 4 was still terrifying, even though it was a shooter.
I couldn't play it because I couldn't get into the game mechanics of it.
But 4, that basically pioneered that whole camera angle thing of the over the shoulder.
Which is what I was going to get into with The Evil Within, which we have 2 videos on, and if I know...
I'm in neither of them, so don't bother watching them.
Yeah, we're probably not going to do any more because
I'm not in any of them, and don't bother watching them.
Yeah. They just weren't... I couldn't... It's just too... I mean, don't get me wrong, there was scary parts. I mean, I'm sure we're not even far enough into it that it was scary. And we were playing it it was Paul and I playing it, so it's not like there was it wasn't just me with
Paul and him, not me, not important.
But, the game wasn't necessarily scary. It was kind of cool, but like for a new game that just came out, the graphics were kind of even though we had them to max.
Mm-hmm.
Like the game jumped around so much. The first thing you do is you go into like a hospital. Of course, you go into a hospital. It's mental patients, right?
Yep.
Within maybe 10 minutes of gameplay, you come out, and what caught me, which was cool, that was different, is that the city's fucking like going nuts. Like things are moving like Inception, like parts of the buildings are moving. The ground's collapsing. You know, it's a big car chase, and like one of the guys, your good friend who looks like Al Pacino, he fucking like kind of like bubbles like popcorn on his face and like dies and everything. And then you end up in this forest.
Is he a good salesman?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, come on, Glengarry Glen Ross.
Anyways, but like it just jumps from like within an hour of gameplay, you jump from being in a mental hospital into being in the woods.
Does he close the deal though?
He does close the deal, and then you jump in the water. Like it just
he doesn't get coffee till he.
But they didn't really build anything up. Like that's the thing.
Coffee's for closers, Ryan.
Okay, coffee's for closers.
Coffee's for closers.
Great. Well, this main character you play was a shitty cop.
He's not a closer. He doesn't get no coffee.
Well, we didn't get far enough to see him close the case, but you know what, like, and I don't know if you never played. We didn't play. Oh, you saw? Yeah, we played Outlast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another.
That one's, but that's another one that I consider a lower budget. Like I think Evil Within is quite a higher budget. Resident Evil's a higher.
I was
budget.
more going to compare Outlast to Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Sorry, I was going to say Freddy Got Fingered. Because Tom Green's it's just avoiding Tom Green in a sausage costume, trying to push a microphone covered in dog shit in your face. Just, Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Oh God.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Yeah. So, anyways, I was trying to compare that to Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was going to say the level of terror at Five Nights at Freddy's much higher than the level of terror with Outlast.
Yeah,
because at least in Outlast you can run away.
It's a different, but yeah, that's kind of the terror of it, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I was trying to get to the point that those are both lower budget games, I would say, especially Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah. But they have more impact.
Yeah.
To me than like the big budget. Like Resident Evil's not scary. It's just becoming a big
budget third person shooter.
Yeah. Last of Us, I don't consider it a horror
I still haven't
game.
finished it, but I didn't when I was playing.
But I had scary moments. There were scary moments.
Yeah, I didn't find it ultra horror. I found it tense.
To me, it's more like watching The Walking, like an HBO show or something.
And it's like
it's about the story.
You know, making sure you don't run out of ammo, and it's more survival than it is horror.
Yeah. The one game actually that's come out recently, it was the demo for Silent Hills.
Oh, PT.
Yeah, PT. Now that was
fucking
scary.
Hideo Kojima.
I didn't even get all the way through it.
I haven't played it. I've only watched the Let's Play that you and
that we did?
Paul did. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing about that was...
That's the only Let's Play worth watching that I'm not in, by the way.
Well, the night before we did that,
Yeah.
Paul was over at our neighbor's place with his friend, and they played all the way through it.
Oh.
So when we did that Let's Play the next day...
That's right.
By the
He
way,
knew what happened.
By the way, I had no sleep, and I was drinking coffee the whole way through it, so my heart was racing, and I was fucking tired. But Paul wouldn't explain to me how to play the game, so we never really got that far. Like, we spent a long time just bullshitting around. We never got far enough into it where it gets really scary. But that was terrifying because you know why? Because that game looks so fucking realistic. If you look at the screenshots, it looks like a photo.
Yeah.
And that was the crazy part about it.
I agree. Fucking, we're at an hour now.
Just 61 minutes.
It's over.
Do you want to cut it here?
Should we cut it here? I think this was a good introduction to us and sort of our views on gaming and our views on games that have influenced us. Certainly. I mean, when you dodge through all of the back and forth and the cutting each other off, which you guys are just going to have to get used to because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But, so this was the first Bottled Gaming podcast.
Episode 1.
And we'll upload this, and then we'll also upload the other 15 minutes that we recorded with us chatting about Final Fantasy that we just did not want to have that conversation again when the thing failed on us. It failed so epically.
It did.
But I guess
that's what you get for recording on a phone, though.
We've done that ourselves.
So, you guys, if you actually listen all the way for this, thank you. And you can check out everything from BottledGames on youtube.com/BottledGames. We're on Twitter at @bottle_games. And we're on Facebook, too, just BottledGames. You can search it there. The logo's everywhere.
We should end this with a phrase or a term.
What kind of phrase are you thinking?
Cocainum.
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 Thank you.